at KSMO Radio. Time for our spotlight on the Salem Memorial District Hospital. And we have Shelly with us today. Back.
Yes.
It's good to have you back, girl.
Well, thank you,
You know,
Stan.
last time you had to share the spotlight with those other
I did.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, with the big wigs.
Yeah. We'll be back again tomorrow, by the way. So that's good. But nonetheless, good to have you back.
Well, thank you, Stan.
And Shelly is the new, I won't say new nurse practitioner because you were at the hospital before, right?
Yes, I was. I was there for around 11 years just as a floor nurse. Did home health, did outpatient surgery, met a lot of people around Salem, Bunker, surrounding areas. So it was a good experience.
So was your work in the hospital what got Tiffany wanting to be a doctor, do you think? Or did you take her with you so she could, I don't know. Did you guys talk about it?
So that's a really good question. And so Dr. Bland actually had a lot of experiences that kind of propelled her into medicine. One of them was being her brother, who was born at 24 weeks. We spent a lot of time in the NICU.
Wow.
She really got an idea of what it was to be in the medical field when we were 6 months there. So she just saw a lot of caring, a lot of giving in the field. And then also watching her mom. I was actually older when I went through nursing school, had lost a baby, and decided that's kind of what threw me into nursing. And so she just grew up around it then. She watched me study. She liked all that studying.
And she was very active.
Very active.
Yeah.
She was on the basketball team.
Right. So she was very active. And so, and I'm sure her little aches and pains made her probably wonder why. How's the best to treat my own injuries, right?
Yeah, she absolutely. I mean, which, she had a nurse for a mom, and us nurses are notorious for just blowing things off and telling them they're fine.
Well, no, not really. It's usually the other way around,
Yeah.
Yeah, moms have a candid way of letting you know, if you're hurt, you're hurt. If you're sore, you play.
Right. Exactly, Stan. And there's definitely a difference between hurt and sore. A lot of times when there's an injury, you know it. So, and we've had injuries. Tiffany, thank goodness, was never one of them that got many injuries. She was a little tricky in her running. Nobody could catch her.
Well, there you go.
Her sister, on the other hand, had quite a few injuries, knee injuries and back injuries, but she still played.
And let's be honest, and you see patients that come in, and sometimes you think it's not that bad. I did something, I fell, or I twisted this. It's not that bad. Well, as soon as they tell you it's not that bad, I'm sure that just starts your mind thinking, okay, if it's not that bad, why would you be telling me about it, right? Because there usually is still some pain, and that means there's probably a problem.
That's exactly right. If there's pain, there's probably a problem that you need to get checked out. And unfortunately, we have a lot of tests that we can do in the office to kind of give us an idea of what may be wrong in there, such as a meniscal tear or an ACL tear, PCL tear. We can kind of get an idea of where to go with our testing, but we don't have x-ray vision. So therefore, a lot of times we have to send you over to the old radiology department.
Well, and that's okay because, and with the radiology that we have now at the Salem Memorial District Hospital with our state-of-the-art MRIs, CAT scans, and then, of course, for even the 3D mammography. And you start talking about the best of the best. We already have it here locally, don't we?
Yes, we do. We absolutely do. And we have a really good bunch over there in the radiology department. They take good care of our patients. They're very personable. So you really can't beat our radiology department.
Yeah, when you get a good picture of something, especially if you have a tear in your knee or elbow or shoulder, you don't want to have a grainy look at this because you really can't get a good idea how bad that tear might be. And people think, well, it's just a little tear, not going to be a big deal. That little tear can become a big tear.
And that's
quickly.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, then you would need a specialist for that. But you're exactly right on the MRI. And then we have a lot of people who are scared of the MRI because it's such a narrow tube.
Not here.
Not here, no. I was pleasantly surprised. I went from an MRI in another facility that it was very stressful
Restricting.
because
Let's
it
put
was
it that
very
way.
restricting.
Yeah.
And I'm not claustrophobic, but I am in those MRI machines.
Yeah.
But when I went to Salem, the machine was so big, it was almost like a CAT scan, so it was very comfortable.
So it's called an open bore, and
It is.
so that allows people of any size really to fit in there and not feel like it's closing in on them. And it's a scary thought when you feel like you're being constricted and can I get out?
Exactly.
Because there's that fear that we all have of being trapped.
Yes, it definitely takes your breath away.
Well, it can, but we don't want to do that. But when we talk about in summertime, this happens all the time. You get a bunch of kids together, they're out there playing around, running around, having a good time, maybe playing a little volleyball in the backyard, or even at the swimming pool, they're running, having a good time. They step on a crack, they tweak their knee. Next thing you know, their day, that rest of that day, because they're already warm and going, not a big deal. They wake up the next day and pow.
Right.
They've got swelling. They've got pain. They've got an issue.
Yeah, and a lot of times your kids won't tell you, but you'll notice in their walk or
Sure.
their gait that you'll just notice that they'll be favoring a certain side or just not acting their normal self. So kids don't necessarily give you the same indication as an adult will. I mean, a lot of times, they don't want to be kept from going to the zoo or the park or the pool.
All right.
So they're going to hide some stuff from a parent. Yeah. So you really have to keep your eye on how they're walking, how they're feeling. Are they doing their normal running? Are they getting off the couch the same? I mean, there's a lot of different ideas and cues that a child will give you.
Yeah. So, and watch out for those little injuries. And they can happen any time. Matter of fact, one of our baseball players actually did something to his knee while sleeping.
Oh, yes.
And when he woke up, his knee was swollen and stiff, and he couldn't play. And that's a shame. He was a senior, and it's unfortunate you can't play the game. But you didn't do anything wrong, but I guess maybe the foot got caught in a sheet, twisted over, and while you're sleeping, did a little tweak of the knee, and the next thing you know, you wake up and you got this big bulging swelling around your knee, and that's not something you wanted to wake up with.
No, and two, people aren't familiar with the idea that there are what we call stress fractures, and you can get those just from walking, running. I mean, and people don't understand. They wake up with a swollen finger, a swollen toe, and they said, I didn't do anything to it. You didn't have to do anything unusual to it. You may have just ran a little too much that day and got the stress fracture from that constant motion. So
Exactly. And that can be from just stepping wrong, too. And you can get
Yes.
a stress fracture in your foot. And I actually was one that had a little different situation. I did not have a stress fracture, but I had a spiral fracture. And I fell on my elbow.
Uh-huh.
I was actually practicing ice hockey, and I got tripped up, fell on my elbow, and it doesn't hurt. It didn't hurt, didn't swell, didn't do anything until at that time my girlfriend put her head on my arm, and I thought I was going to knock her out because I didn't realize there was no pain. There was
Right.
nothing.
Yeah.
And so then you're thinking, okay, now we've got an issue. What happened? Why is that hurting? And then I realized I fell on my elbow. And so when I went and got the x-ray, it showed the spiral fracture. There's nothing you can do about that except not use it.
Right. And I just recently broke my first bones, which was my foot, and that was from running in high heels. And
Not recommended.
well, excuse me, Stan, but I was taught by the Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
They do it.
How high a heel was that, Sherry?
Oh, well, I want to say it was over 4
Yeah,
inches.
that's a little too high. It's like falling off a building right there. But nonetheless, but it can happen. Matter of fact, I've seen some ladies get injured when their heel breaks.
Exactly. Yes.
Because it's an unexpected step they take, and it breaks off, and down they go. And that can do some damage to your knee, can do damage to your ankle, can do damage to your foot. And then don't just blow it off, because make sure the next day it's not super sore, because there could be an issue there.
Exactly. And don't just wrap it and think we're fine just with a little bit of compression, which that is a recommendation initially is compression,
Sure.
ice, rest, elevation. So those are all things to do until you can get seen. But before that, definitely do those steps, then come and see us and we can get you taken care of. Those steps are completed, and so we don't have to say, do compression, ice, rest, elevation. You can say, I did the
Sure.
compression, rest,
Sure.
ice, and elevation.
And sometimes that's all it takes.
Right,
That's all it's going to take.
right.
Take the swelling down quickly. It maybe it's going to be a little bit of a bruise. Sometimes you bump yourself. You can just put that ice on a bruise and keep it from swelling up big time. When you play ice hockey, you learn how to use ice bags a lot. Because trust me, and that was the old-fashioned ice bags.
Yeah.
They were cold, but they work wonders. The modern science has nothing on those old ice bags. They were very, very, very.
The new ones are very nice.
Oh, I know, and with gel packs.
They
are
just
good too.
wrap around.
Yeah, they do. And they're really good. Those old ones you had to actually, be in days gone by. You remember these days?
Yes.
You put that ice pack on, the old ace bandage, and you wrap that sucker on
Yeah.
there. And the only sad thing about it is you got that nice and tight with that ace bandage, but the ice melts.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, it's shifting a little bit here and shifting a little bit there, and then water leaks through, and
Right,
not
yeah.
exactly ideal situation.
Yes.
But it is what at that time it was the best you had, and it worked out. Still
Right,
worked.
exactly.
Well, still worked. You just had to notice when it started to leak a little bit or get a little bit too loose. You take it back out, dump the water out. Put new ice in, put it back on if you need to. But you need, people think I just put ice on it, I just leave ice on it for 5 to 8 hours. No, you don't want to do that. No. So there
That's
are
called frostbite.
Yeah, there are recommendations about how long to leave it on, then let it get back to room temperature. And if you need to re-ice it, then you can do that a little bit later.
Yeah, 15 minutes is what you would want to ice something. Not over that, really. So
And not directly either.
no.
don't
Make
wrap-
sure you have something on top of your leg before you put that ice on there. Otherwise, you're like I said, that's ice. That's frostbite, and
Yeah.
that kills skin.
That's right. And then that'll hurt even worse when you yank that sucker off there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely. I wanted to talk a little bit about, it is summertime. People start doing things they don't normally do. All winter long we sit there and then we've seen, 5,000 inches of rain.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So now people are out doing their gardens. We haven't had the super hot temperatures yet, but
Right.
we're right on the verge of it. The humidity levels are going to start climbing. We know that. Look at the green grass.
Right, yes.
It's growing crazy. I just had to cut my grass again last night. 4 days. Okay.
It's that rain.
Well, it is the rain, but it's something. When people get out there and start doing these things, cutting the grass, working in the garden, doing outdoor activities. And we're not
Yes.
telling people not to do it. With the
No,
allergies we've
yeah.
had going around, and now with the heat and the humidity coming up, Sherry, you know as well as I do, heat exhaustion, heat stroke. It doesn't take much when you're cutting that grass on a super hot day with no breeze to start to feel the effects of the heat.
No, it does not. And it's important to keep well hydrated when you're out there doing that. You're sweating, you're losing your fluid just as fast as you're drinking it when you're out there. And dehydration is a serious deal because it can shut your kidneys down if you don't take care of it.
And you
So-
really want to start hydrating the day before, at least,
yes,
right?
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, it's a good thing just to stay hydrated. So many
Sure.
people are dehydrated all the time. I said 90% of us live on dehydration, and it's not good for us.
No.
I mean, it's not good for your skin. I mean, that's where you get the wrinkles.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're good right there. But it is important because you have to realize it, and it doesn't. The telltale signs of heat exhaustion. It comes on you very quickly.
Headache, heart palpitations. You start getting dizzy. Yeah, so it's important to stay hydrated. And then you don't want to just drink and guzzle a bunch of water. You want to get a Gatorade in there once in a while just to replace some of those electrolytes.
Sure.
But you also don't want to just drink Gatorade because then you're going to get too many electrolytes. And that's not good as well.
Now, and we were often told, and I think it's a pretty good idea, that first thing you want to do when you get super hot is drink ice cold water, and you really don't want to do that. It's a little bit of a
No.
shock to your system.
Yes.
So you want to drink basically tepid water get your body temperature down.
Correct.
And then that's the best way to do that. But also, people have asked me, how do you cool down? Well, I said, well, I remember a long time ago.
You jumped in the creek.
Well, the pool is always better. The creek sometimes was hot as the outside. And then you came up with little things all over you, which isn't
not
really,
the current.
No, not the current. That's not a creek. That's actually a river.
It's not a creek, but
But one of the things when people do get overheated is you need to cool them down, and it's just take some water, put it on a dish towel, even a wash rag,
Right.
put it on their forehead, behind their neck, and their armpits. Get them cooled down. Do not put anything like ice on their chest.
No.
But you want to take that, and not ice cold water.
No.
Just cool water, and let them start to cool down slowly.
It's the same thing as drinking the ice water.
Yep.
You can't cool down too quickly, or you're going to throw your body into shock.
Or you can get yourself sick,
Yeah.
and you can throw it right back up, and now you're going to be in worse shape. You're going to feel even worse than you
Right.
did. But watch out for heat exhaustion and then
Yes.
heat stroke. We
Yes.
don't want anybody to mess around with that. If you stop perspiring, you're out there working, and you stop perspiring, you get dizzy, have somebody call 911. Do
Correct.
not mess with heat stroke at all.
Yes, exactly. It's a serious condition that you want to avoid. So, and like I said, avoid it. Drink your water, drink your Gatorade or something that has electrolytes in it. Just be consistent about it. So, and then go in once in a while. Don't just stay in the heat.
Right.
Take your breaks, whether
And-
it be shade or inside.
That's something that I do not like to do. If I get started on a project, I don't want to finish it. And I'll do that with cutting grass, digging a trench. It doesn't make any difference. Once I get started, let me get finished. And somebody says, take a break. No, because I take a break, I won't want to come back because I feel like I'm done. And then when your body try to get back out there and do it again, because the way I always felt like, all right, I'm on a roll. Don't stop me. I've got a pattern. I've got a
You're in your
maybe
groove.
a rhythm. Maybe that might be the best way to do it. So don't mess up my rhythm. And if I stop, I'm not going to get that rhythm back. And right now I feel pretty good. Now, that doesn't mean you still don't need to be drinking water. That still doesn't mean you don't have to wipe your face down, cool yourself down a little bit. It just means if you don't want to do it, slow it down. Get that rhythm to where it's a gentle rhythm. And then, like you're saying, take a little walk underneath the tree. Get out of the direct sun.
Right.
Do that. But have that cool compress there. Not cold, but cool, and then
Put it on your head.
put it on your head.
neck.
Give it 2 or 3 minutes. That's not going to throw you out of your rhythm. Half hour, hour, you're going to slow down. Muscles start to get sore, and then you're not going to want to go back finish your project. But don't ignore the signs.
Yes, and 15-minute break, 10-minute, 15 minutes. It's not really going to throw you out of a rhythm. It's not going to let those muscles cool down to where you don't necessarily want to go back. I mean, if you're drinking, if you're hydrating, you're going to have to go to the bathroom.
Sooner or later.
So you're going to have to take that break.
Well, if you sweat enough, you won't have to go to the bathroom. It'll come out of you.
If you don't have to go to the bathroom, Stan, that's bad.
Well, I've actually
Drink
gone.
more.
I did, but I tell you what, you get out in that hot sun and you got hockey equipment on, trust me, you're going to perspire out before it ever gets down. And that's not a good thing either. But we really want to remind people about that. We're very, very close to those days where the heat's going to be out there and
Right,
oppressive.
Sunblock.
Definitely want to have the sunblock out there. But one thing that, Shelly, that I really want to stress to people is we get so in tune to air conditioning. The cooler you keep it and the more you step outside, the worse it is.
Oh, yes.
Because your body does not like that sudden change in temperature. You go from 68 degrees inside to 98 outside.
Right.
It's not going to like it.
No, it's not. I mean, we're energy efficient, so we just keep our thermostat at the same temperature all year round. So we keep it right at 72. That's not too cool, but in the summertime it feels pretty cool. You just have to make sure that you give your time that adjustment for your body to kind of get into the groove. So, yeah, you just definitely don't want to get hot and sweaty outside and then come into the cool air conditioning and just sit, because that's when you just feel awful.
Yeah, and then you might even get a chill.
Yes,
to where
exactly.
if you are perspiring, you come inside and you're
Exactly.
damp, and you all of a sudden you might start shivering, and you just don't want to go through that because that's a shock to your system.
Oh, it is. Yes, it
It
is.
can really wear you down. So cool yourself down naturally. I always like when I get done outside. Usually you get done cutting the grass, you're perspiring pretty good. Maybe grab a little water, sip a little water, and maybe sweep a little bit, do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that.
I
But
always like
calm
to
down.
jump in the pool, Stan.
I understand. But if there's no pool, honey, you got. Not everybody has a pool, Shelly. Not everybody. I wish they did, but it was.
There's the city pool.
There is a city pool, but by the time you get done getting over there, you might have cooled down anyway. But it is a great thing. So anyway, well, one of the things, so utilize the beautiful weather we have. Take advantage
Yes.
of it, but don't overdo it.
Exactly.
And if you do find yourself in a position where you are very uncomfortable, heart palpitations, or your heart's racing, you're
Right.
dizzy,
Yes.
you're not sweating, you're nauseous, things of that nature, have somebody call 911. Do not mess around
You're
with
not going to the bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely want to call 911.
it. Yeah, we definitely want to get that out there. Anything else you want to talk a little bit about? We got a holiday coming up here with Memorial Day. And
Oh, yeah. And
little
you just
different
told me
stuff.
there's a 5K
5K,
going
10K
on.
run, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get yourself in shape for that.
There you go. That's a little, maybe a little late to do that one. But we do have a Heroes Marathon coming up in November. And that probably brings up another good thing that we should probably touch on. You cannot get in shape to go run a 10K in a week.
No, you cannot.
Okay? If you've been a couch potato, do not try that. And now, if you want to walk it, that's probably
that
possible.
that might be possible,
Yeah,
but
but-
not, no. Don't try to go from the couch to a 5K.
Yeah, please don't do that. You do need to work it up. Your body, your heart's a muscle. And then when you have that muscle and you have to train that muscle just like any other muscle you have.
Exactly. And so it's same difference. Your legs, your heart, everything. And if you're not used to it and you overwork those muscles, what happens is your body hypermetabolizes and proteins build up, and your body can't process them all. Your kidneys can't process them all. And you wind up in the hospital because you cannot get rid of all of that protein all at once. So it's not a good idea to go from 0 to 90, like we say.
Yeah. Probably not a good idea. Probably not.
Only in
So,
racing.
Yeah, well, only if you have a vehicle that you're driving. 0 to 90 is not a bad thing. But we definitely want to make sure that people do take care of their own health. You know, you're the person that feels it, knows it. You have to make those decisions, what's best for you. And that also includes eating the right foods in the summer. You definitely want to make sure you have your fruits, your vegetables. Farmers markets are open. It's the best time to get the best ingredients, the freshest ingredients you can for your food. Time is right now.
Yes, and that's a way to get some of your hydration as well. The watermelon, the tomatoes, the cucumbers, they'll all hydrate you, as well as just drinking your water. So you can eat your hydration as well.
And provide you with necessary sugars that are natural.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, your electrolytes we were talking about.
right.
Yeah, you get your potassium, your sodium with the salt.
Sodium with the salt. Okay. It's a little different.
Well,
Your sodium intake, I guess. Yeah, but you definitely want to do it naturally. You know, a lot of people for years, Shelly, would do it artificially. And even drinking Gatorade, yeah, you're replacing things.
Right.
But it's not natural. You know, apples, pears, oranges, cantaloupes, grapes, different things of that nature, all the natural fruits, and then the vegetables. You can grow your own vegetables.
Oh,
You got a wonderful community garden that we have not too far away, right behind the Methodist Church over there. You can go, you can get a plot for free, grow your own vegetables, grow your own lettuce, radishes, carrots, different things that you might want to eat, your own tomatoes. And
that's
have
wonderful.
You can have that all to yourself. You can donate some of that to to soup kitchens and things of that nature around
to
town.
people who work all the time.
Or the people who can't do that because they're at work all the time. I didn't see any hints show up there. But those natural grown vegetables and fresh fruit, they're not processed.
No.
You get them out, obviously you take them out of the ground, you clean them or make sure you wash them off thoroughly. But when you cut into a fresh tomato, when you eat fresh lettuce, the radishes are crisper, everything, it just tastes so much better.
It does. I don't know why. Do you?
Well, probably because it's right out of the ground, and it doesn't have to go through a processing plant, get
Right.
separated out.
It's
and
not picked green.
right?
And then,
It's 5-6
Yeah.
days into it by the time it gets to you. Still fresh, but not as fresh as pulling it out of the ground.
correct.
Cleaning it off, cutting it up, putting it in your salad, and or on your
Just a
burger,
little salt.
yeah, just a little salt. Don't take the whole salt shaker, both of them, and pour it on there. Utilize what nature has because it's the best medicine for you.
It is the best medicine. And just like you said, taking care of our bodies is the best medicine. Exercise, within reason. Sure, we don't want you to strain yourself, but we definitely need that exercise. We have gotten too far away from this exercise. And it really does help your cholesterol. It helps your blood pressure. It helps your well-being.
And it makes you feel better.
Yes, it does. It builds up dopamine to where, you actually feel better emotionally, psychologically, so exercise does a lot for us.
I know you're seeing patients, so if you'd like to see Shelly, before you do an exercise program, it'd probably be wise for them to sit down, discuss it with your doctor, and say, okay, I haven't really done too much. Give me an idea what I can do, because that's what doctors are there for. They're not just there for when you have something go wrong, but they want to prevent something from happening wrong as well, don't they?
That's exactly right. And that's a misconception with physicians anymore, or providers, is that people think we're just there to give pills, and that's not necessarily the thing. Yes, sometimes we have to resort to a blood pressure pill or a cholesterol pill, or even, something for depression or anxiety. Yes, we do have to resort to those things. But first, we want to try diet and exercise. We want to try and get your body to its optimal functioning before we start all of that medication. And so many times people don't want to hear that from their provider. They want to hear, here's a pill.
Not all, and the thing is, those are chemicals.
Those are.
And when you put those chemicals into your body, sometimes they may work great for a month, then they stop working because your body absorbs those chemicals and now says, okay, I need something different. Then you're changing chemicals again and just keep changing and changing. And so that's not the optimum way to do it.
No, it's not. Like I said, diet and exercise first. If that's not working, yes, we need to address hypertension. We need to address high cholesterol. We need to address high blood sugars. I mean, these are all things that can damage your body internally. We need to address anxiety, depression. It's out there, and there's no shame in getting treatment.
And let's be honest, okay? A lot of people say, "Well, I exercise. I don't have a problem with my blood pressure. I don't have a problem with this or this." I know I don't. Well, no, unless you actually go get the blood test and go get checked. You don't know you don't. If you don't take your blood pressure all the time, you don't. We all know it's a stressful world. If you run a business or in a business and work all the time, or in a high tension job,
Walmart.
you're going to have possibly high blood pressure.
Right.
And that is going to stay with you when you wake up that day and you start feeling that tension already building up. Your heart feels the tension. Your body feels the tension. Guys, you're already suffering high blood pressure. You might not even know it.
Right. You may not. That's why we call high blood pressure the silent killer, because high blood pressure in itself is not going to kill you, but the damage to the body that it does is what ultimately gets you, because it can cause an enlarged heart. It can cause your kidneys to get damaged just from the vessels being tightened in there, and that's basically what that is your vessels are constricted, so the blood can't pump through your body, and so that's not good for anything.
Right. And as you mentioned here a moment ago about anxiety, some people have fears, and that anxiety Well, first off, it gets your adrenaline going, which is great. That's fine and dandy. But sometimes that anxiety gets out of control. And when I don't know everything that goes on, but I do when the adrenaline gets going and going and going and going and going and keeps going. That's not good on your heart, and that also can give you high blood pressure and put you in a situation that is not healthy.
Exactly. And they actually say that anxiety changes your blood cells even now. They're finding that it makes your blood cells a little stickier than if you aren't under that stress or that anxiety. And so then anytime your blood cells are sticky, then they coagulate and stick together and they can't get through those vessels. The adrenaline will increase your heart rate. It will cause your blood pressure to go up. So those are all situations that can cause an even more serious condition.
So what we're basically saying is with our discussion today, take care of yourself. Keep yourself healthy the natural way. Try and do some exercise. That's always a good idea. If exercise doesn't work, or if maybe you do exercise, but your blood pressure's still high, it's okay to take a little bit of medication. Now, and one of the things, and before we wrap up with that, and I was talking to Shelly. I went to Shelly last Friday, no, not this past Friday, but the Friday before.
Yes, yes.
Okay, because I needed to get my medication refilled, and we had a nice, good long hour conversation. But she noticed that she likes to talk. But it was about a number of different things. And sometimes medications affect other bodily functions that maybe rob you of your normal lifestyle. And that's something that when I talked a little bit with Shelly about this, and she said that should not happen. And if it does happen, you need to get back with your doctor.
Exactly. There's a lot of different conditions that we're a little bit embarrassed to bring up or that we just don't think is a result of our medication. We'll just, like even fatigue. People, I'm really tired since I started this medication. Bring it up to your provider. They can switch your medication around. Not every medication is the right fit. Sometimes it's trial and error to find the right medication that works for you. Just because one medication doesn't work or makes you feel bad doesn't mean the other one's going to. They all have different mechanisms of action. They all work in different areas of our bodies. So it's important to tell your provider because they know these things. They know the side effects. They know which ones don't have side effects.
And also tell your physician if you are taking other medications or even over-the-counter supplements. Because
Exactly.
that makes a big difference too, right?
Right. Supplements do make a big difference. We have this idea that supplements aren't harmful, that they're perfectly okay because we think of them as natural. All of our medications are a derivative of these natural supplements. So basically, they're a chemical makeup of what we say are our natural supplements. So just because you don't think they may have side effects, they do. They absolutely do. There's kava kava, valerian root. Those are all toxic to your liver if you get too many. So it's important to say something to your provider about what supplements you're taking.
Right. And if you're not sure why you're taking them, because maybe a friend recommended, they may not be right for your body system either, because maybe it's creating the high blood pressure or maybe that uncomfortable uneasiness, that tension, whatever you might feel, because you're taking something that really your body doesn't want you to be taking.
Right. And I'm not saying that, I think all supplements and oils are bad. I'm just saying
No.
if you feel like they have a healing power, then you also have to understand they may have a negative effect as well as a positive effect. Nothing is all one or the other. There's always benefits and risks to everything.
And one last thing before we get done, and I know that a lot of people may, with the scares of cancer and skin cancer, and I don't want to be in the sun, I don't want to be in the sun, I don't want to be in the sun. There are some people that literally just do not need to be in the sun. But your body needs vitamin D. And vitamin D, you get a lot of that from the sun. You definitely want to be out there.
That's exactly right.
And a lot of people have vitamin D shortage. As a matter of fact, in the last health fair, I do remember they were actually taking a vitamin D reading to see where people stood with it, because if you don't have enough vitamin D, you don't have much energy.
Right. Vitamin D is an important part of our system, and it also helps you um, process your calcium.
Right.
So if you don't have enough vitamin D, then your bone health also suffers. Vitamin D is good for bone, skin, and mood.
Sure.
If you're low on vitamin D and you're suffering with depression, it has a really good correlation there. So we need to keep a check on that vitamin D level.
And again, natural vitamin D.
Yes.
It's just so.
It's the best.
It is the best. And
But
so,
if you have to take a supplement,
well, and some people do, and I actually do take a little
Yes.
bit of a supplement because I'm inside way too much of the time.
and so many of us are,
Yeah.
we just don't get enough sunshine. So,
Yeah, and it. But you're sunshine wherever you go, Shelly. Anyway.
well, thank you, Stan.
Nonetheless. But again, if you have a need, if you'd like to sit down and just talk with Shelly, and trust me, you guys will have a great conversation. She's very interested in not just the problem you have, but in knowing who you are, and that is a key ingredient, I think, with any nurse practitioner, physician. Tiffany's the same way. We had a nice conversation last week. She was in about different things about the people that they are talking with. They're not patients, they're friends.
Yes.
That's really what it is. You become friends because you want to be able to trust your physician.
You do.
And a physician wants to be able to trust the patient to tell them the truth.
Right. And open communication is everything. We can't, we have to take care of the whole person, not just one part. Everybody, we're not just an arm walking around, We can't walk without our legs. So we have to treat the whole body, and that means mind, body, spirit. It's the whole person. And I just like people, Stan.
Yes, you do. Yes, I will say that is true. And that's one prescription you can always count on, that she will always have something good to say, and she'll listen to everything you've got to say and take the time needed to make sure that you're comfortable with whatever you decide that might be the best solution to the problem that they do have, if they have a problem at all.
Exactly.
And I'll be honest with you. As I mentioned, I went to Shelly a couple Fridays ago, and I got a phone call from her that Wednesday. How's it going? Following up. How's the blood pressure? Is it doing this? Is it doing this? Is it doing this? And I honestly could tell you, with what my week was that time, it hadn't really changed too much. But I just started on that medication.
Right.
We'll see how it works. But again, the follow-up is there. That's what you want out of your physician, and that's what you want out of somebody who cares about you.
That's exactly right, Stan. And I do. I want to know that my patients are feeling better. I don't want to just see you when you're sick. I want to see you and try to prevent any illness as well, So, like I said, I genuinely do care for people. So, that's just where I come from.
Very good. What days are you at the SMDH Family Clinic?
I am there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I am not there on Thursday, but I'm always happy to be there on Friday.
On Friday. There you go. All right. And the number is 729-8000. If you'd like to set up a time to talk with Shelly, go over some things. Maybe you're thinking about getting off that couch, doing a few things this year. If you haven't been very active, please get with your physician first.
Yes.
Before you decide to go jump in that 5K or 10K like even if you want to walk it, that's a long way to go if you've not walked it in a long time. And it's not just a level surface. You're not just walking around a track. You're going up and down hills when you're going on city streets. So, before you do anything like that, plus you don't know how warm it's going to be. And that will also have an effect.
Exactly. Yes.
So a lot of different things that they will take into consideration before making a recommendation. I would recommend you doing this, 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 and this, and then increasing that at a comfortable level.
Exactly, Stan. We all need to go with a comfortable level. Don't overdo it. Like I said, you can get yourself in some serious trouble if you just go from 0 to 90.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Shelly, thanks for coming in. We really appreciate that. Shelly Bland, FNP, over at Salem Memorial District Hospital's Family Clinic. And you guys do a tremendous job over there.
Thank you,
I
Stan.
really do appreciate you guys and all the work you do. If you have any questions about maybe what you heard today, just call Shelly over to clinic. And if she's tied up, I guarantee you this, she will call you back and probably talk for a little while. Pretty much a pretty good prescription there.
Yes, Dan. Really good prescription.
Well, again, thanks for coming in. We really appreciate it. And our spotlight on the Salem Memorial District Hospital and Shelly Bland. Thank you, Shelly.
Thank you, Stan.